Hey there, it's Mike Clark here, joined by Ijo here at Cocoon SDA Homes. And it's my absolute privilege to be with you, my friend. First of all, thank you for your support for the Brisbane Disability Connection Expo. Have you had a good couple days?
Beautiful. We have very good days. Like, we have a lot of people coming in yesterday, today.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised because I'm looking forward to understanding more about how Cocoon is really shaking up accommodation in this space. You know, you really stand for something different. So before we jump into that, Ijo, tell me a little bit about Cocoon overall as an organization.
So Cocoon is a very young organization. Within few years, it has actually grown exponentially. Now we have around 500 homes across the country and around 1,500 people working with us. Wow. However, I would say the core strength of this organization is the value-based approach and the trust that people have in us. So we have many people who actually prefer to send their family members come back to our home faster from the hospital because they feel the support workers who are supporting that person is more caring than the services that they're getting from the hospital themselves. So such kind of trust definitely helps us encourage and keep doing what we do.
Where does that come from? You mentioned the values piece just there, and I remember from meeting you the first time, and Eileen and Lesh, I could tell like there was a passion there from your organization. So talk to me a bit about, what does it take to really build trust, and what's the secret behind it?
It's like on a daily basis, as I usually tell my team members, that we are in a business of making people's day on a daily basis because they are there. So we have to be there with a smile. We have to actually make their day on a day-to-day basis. So trust comes over a period of time, consistency, being there at the time that they expect us to do, and delivering the services in the quality that they expect us to do. Yep. And being always listening and getting to know what they actually want. So that is exactly the core and center of this entire scheme, person-centric approach. Yeah. So we actually customize, we actually provide training to the staff members in such a way that the participant get the same kind of staff who is well trained and qualified and educated so that they can actually provide the quality care that they deserve.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And what are some of the core values of Cocoon?
Yeah, so respect, we have a lot of fun while we are working, then we collaborate with people. So yeah, these are the values that we have.
Excellent. And so tell me about accommodation. Tell me about the way it has been done and the way you guys do it.
When it comes to accommodation, it starts from the home itself. Like, we actually customize any specific requirements that a participant has. We actually, without any much of a difficulty, we actually customize that based on their requirements. We consult with the OT, occupational therapist, so that we can actually get the right measurements and stuff so that it actually meets the needs of the people. And any additional requirements as the time passes by, whether their conditions change of circumstances, we actually include all that aspect. And we actually make it a home for them because that is a place where they need to feel safe. Yeah. So we try to make as much as possible to make that accommodation a home for them.
How do you get that right? Like, how do you understand the nuances of the individual from individual? Like, what's the approach you take for doing that?
So first and foremost, when it comes to building our properties, we actually make sure that we are building the property much better compliance requirements than that is stipulated by NDIS. Yeah. So that we always make it a bit higher than that. That is number one. Number two, we actually go through a consistent transition process. So when we are transitioning one person from a hospital or from a home, depends on what their preferences are. Sometimes it is a sudden transition that they prefer. Sometimes it's a gradual process. Depends on their expectation, or depends on their interest and capacity to understand how the transition takes place. So we actually consult with all the networks of support coordinator, behavior support practitioner, nurse navigator. Yeah. So who all are involved in the whole process. We always take an entire transition plan, we share it with each other, we work towards a timeline, and then we actually bring in a trial days and stuff, and then we introduce staff gradually. So depends on each person. We actually tailor our transition process. So we take transition very seriously because transition is really overwhelming for anybody. Yeah. And when you move the home, sometimes transition is also a big thing for the family members who has never ever let their family members stay away from them. So it's very important. So we take transition very seriously,
Yeah.
and we gradually introduce the staff members, then we bring in the team around it so that it is a smooth transition for the participants. So that's what.
Wow, that's really detailed. I love how you involve all stakeholders involved in the process. That, it's really clever. It's a really great way to get it right because you're taking on board all the variables that need to be considered for that individual. And so there's a statement that I've heard about your organisation about the future of accommodation. So where do you see the SDA accommodation going into the coming years, and where do you see Cocoon as supporting that, the next evolutions of it all?
So as I said, within few years, we actually grew to 500 homes and 1,500 staff, and we are still growing. We are planning moving forward. However, we are going to focus on complex care. Okay. So that is where what we feel most of the providers are moving away from, because it's a lot of hard work. Yeah. So when it comes to complex care, which means we focus on consistency of staff, right training, refresher training. So we have an LMS system that we actually make sure that everyone go through that induction training and refreshers on a periodic basis, which is being tracked. Wow. So that is how we do it. So we actually want to bring in more of complex care in our homes. So we will be more focused on high physical requirements, on high behaviors of concern. So yeah, that's why we focus a lot about training of the staff and the way we transition people so that we can actually make it a scalable model.
Wow, I love it. Fantastic. And what are some of the moments that you and your team really cherish? What are those moments that give you the most I can see a smile on your face already. What are one of the two of those moments you can share that really bring it to life for you?
So just to give you an example, when I visited one of our participants in an aged care, she was just lying down on the bed, watching her TV. And someone comes and washes her and goes, someone feeds her and goes. She's just lying down there the whole day, morning to night. So I met her. I actually thought that she may not have much of a social life and she may not be interested in all that. However, once we transitioned her, she moved into one of our homes, and initially it was a bit difficult for her to understand the whole changes and stuff, although we actually went through a bit of a transition phase. However, once she started settling down, actually she started being so active in that family among other participants who were living in that home. And I actually went there with another participant to just introduce that person to the house and see whether it's a good match. She sat there in her wheelchair and she started talking to the other person that, I like Sound of Music, that musical movie. I like Sound of Music. I like to dance in the rain. And what are the things that you like? And she was actually sitting there and having a conversation and chatting with him and trying to see, whether he's the right person to the match. And at the end, she said, I like that man. He's really good. I like him to come to this home. So what I found is, from being a patient who was just lying there and watching a TV to a very active family member of that home, that was a thrilling moment for me. I mean, it was a complete change that I could see, and I'm very proud that as a team we could actually provide her with that kind of an environment where she felt that this is her home and she has say, and the way she actually discussed, and it was nice, beautiful. It was nice. So she's still that's really nice. It's great, right? I imagine with 500 homes you must have a whole bunch of examples like that. So we have many more. So we recently had a participant who walked in, and she actually met one of our staff. She was working as a state manager a while ago, and this particular participant was working with her as a support worker. Imagine a support worker, when that person became a participant under NDIS, walked into the door and said, I know you guys will look after me because I was a part of your team and I know how you work. Wow. These kind of statement actually gives us that trust. I mean, you can't buy it. So things like that actually inspire us to do better and continuously improve the quality of services that we do. So similarly, as I mentioned, when a participant's sister called me and said, I want my sister to come back to your home faster than her discharge date, because I feel the girls in the house will take good care of her. So I told her, thank you so much for trusting us. We will definitely take care of her. And she was discharged earlier than scheduled, because she felt that her sister will be looked after much better in our own home, because the staff members who have been taking care of her have always been on the ball, requesting and getting what they need to make sure that that particular participant is supported very well. So numerous examples that actually makes us believe that we are doing a very important work and changing people's life and improving people's life. It's a continuous process. We are not perfect. We have never been perfect. We are actually working towards it. We are improving every day. We are learning every day. We are learning from people's feedback. We recently opened up Cocoon Excellence a discussion panel where we are inviting participants and their family members and networks so that the leadership can directly get access to the feedback. So, yeah.
I love it. I really admire the way your organization operates, and I can tell your passion and your enthusiasm. And as I said, from that first meeting I had with you and Eileen and Lesh, and I could tell Lesh who's oozing out of him as well, his commitment at a leadership level too. So I can see we're cut from the same cloth. So, absolutely, it's a privilege. Thanks for coming along to the expo. Thanks for all your support with this. These expos don't come to life without this type of support from yourself and your organization. And so I know one thing about this great organization is they're open to sharing. They're open to sort of opening up their world to you. So if you're interested in checking out what they're up to and checking out how they really create that personalized approach, come along to one of their open houses. They're going to be held at various dates. Check out some of the dates that'll be made available to you. But as you can tell, they're really passionate and committed about getting the right type of support, services and accommodation and that transition phase right. So come talk to Ijo and the team and we'll go from there. But anyway, my friend, great to speak with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Likewise.